오늘도 5페이지를 읽어보겠습니다. 페이지 116. I've never been a whitewater rafting, bungee jumping kind of girl. That's not how I define adventure. What I know for sure is this. The most important adventure of our lives doesn't have to involve climbing the highest peak or trekking around the world. The biggest thrill you can ever achieve is to live the life of your dream. Maybe you're like so many women I've talked to over the years, have suspended their deepest desires in order to accommodate everything and everyone else. You ignore the nudge, that whisper that often comes in the form of emptiness or restlessness, to finally get on with what you know you should be doing. I understand how easy it is to rationalize. Your mate and your children need you. The job that you admit makes you miserable demands so much of your time. But what happens when you work hard at something unfulfilling? It drains your spirit. It robs you of your life force. You end up depleted, depleted, depressed, and angry. 맞아. You don't have to waste another day on the road. You can begin again. Starting over begins with looking inward. It means ridding yourself of distractions and paying attention to that inkling you've been ignoring. I've learned that the more stressful and chaotic things are on the outside, the calmer you need to get on the inside. It's the only way you can connect with where your spirit is leading you. 맞아. Many years ago, as a young television reporter at WJZ in Baltimore, I was given what was considered a plum assignment. I was sent to Los Angeles to interview a few television stars. At first, I was thrilled. Here was a chance to prove myself a good interviewer alone without the help of my usual co-anchor and to add some celebrity catch-it to my career experience. But by the time I arrived in California, I felt like a small fish dropped it into the Hollywood fishbowl. I started to doubt myself. Was I to think I could just walk into their world and expect them to talk to me? Reporters from all over the country had been invited. There were throngs of us local newscasters, entertainment lifestyle reporters. It's given 5 minutes to interview an actor from the TV season's upcoming lineup. I started to feel nervous, uncomfortable, inept. Not good enough to be there with all those other reporters from much bigger cities with more experience than I. To make matters worse, a representative for Fiscalia Presley 누구야? Who was there for a news show she was hosting, told me, as I was 11th in line to talk to her, you can ask her anything, but whatever you do, don't mention Elvis. She will walk out on you. So now I wasn't just intimidated by this new world of stars and their handlers. I was feeling completely inhibited. I'd been a TV reporter since I was 19. I'd interviewed hundreds of people in difficult situations and prided myself on being able to break the ice and establish rapport. But I wasn't accustomed to real stars. I thought they had some mystic, 뭐야 이게? Mystic? That being famous made them not only different, but also better than us regular folk. And I was having difficulty figuring out how I'd pull that off in a 5 minute time frame with the most real questions being off limits. For some reason, you might call it a coincidence. I call it grace in action. I was switched from the Presley line to interview a young comedian who was starting a new show called Mork and Mindy. What followed were five of the most exhilarating, wild, off the charts minutes I'd ever spent in an interview with the most uninhibited, out of the box, free falling in every second celebrity human I'd ever met. I don't remember a word I said, but I know I hardly said any. It was a geyser of energy. I remember thinking, whoever this guy is, he is going to be big. He wasn't afraid to be his many selves. I had great fun playing with Robin Williams, and I learned in that instant to go where the interview takes you. It was all over the place, and I had to follow flow with it. So when my turn came to talk to Miss Priscilla, Priscilla, I for sure had received the lesson. You can't accomplish anything worthwhile if you inhibit yourself. I asked about Elvis. She didn't walk out. In fact, she obliged me with an answer. If life teaches you nothing else, know this. When you get the chance, go for it. My biggest mistakes in life have all stemmed from giving my power to someone else, believing that the love others had to offer was more important than the love I had to give to myself. I remember being 29 and in a relationship based on lie and deceit, down on my knees crying after Mr. Man once again brought me low. I had been waiting for him all evening. He stood me up, arriving hours after our date, and I had dared to ask why. I remember him standing in the doorway and hurling those words at me. The problem with you, baby doll, is that you think you're special. At which point he turned on his heels and slammed the door in my face. I had grown up watching my cousin Alice be physically abused by her boyfriend, and I vowed I'd never take such treatment. But sitting there on the bathroom floor after he walked out, I saw with great tragedy that the only difference between Alice and me was that I hadn't been hit. Mr. Man was wrong. I did not think I was special, and that was the problem. Why was I allowing myself to be treated this way? Even with these insights, it took me another year to end the relationship. I kept hoping and praying things would get better, that it would change. It never did. I started praying for the strength to end it. I, I'd pray and wait to feel better, and wait, all the while repeating my same old patterns. Until one day I got it. While I was waiting on God, God was waiting on me. He was waiting on me to make a decision to either pursue the life that was meant for me or to be stifled by the one I was living. I recognized the truth that I am all right just as I am. I am enough all by myself. The revelation brought its own miracle. Around the time the call came for me to audition for a talk show in Chicago. If I'd stayed entangled in that relationship, my life as I know it would never have happened. What is the truth of your life? It's your duty to know. In order to find out, know that the truth is that which feels right and good and loving. Love doesn't hurt. I've learned in the years since I was 28. It feels really good. It's that which allows you to live every day with integrity. Everything you do and say shows the world who you are. Let it be the truth. I'll never forget the moment when I decided to always choose myself. I recall that what I was wearing, a blue turtleneck and black slacks, where I was sitting in my boss's office. But the chair looked and felt like brown, freshly too deep and overstuffed. Stuffed. And my boss, the general manager at the Baltimore TV station where I worked, said, "There's no way you can make it in Chicago. You're walking into a landmine and you can't even see it. You're committing career suicide." He used every tactic he could muster to entice me to stay. More money, a company car, a new apartment, and finally, intimidation. "You're going to fail." I didn't know if he was right. I didn't have the confidence to believe I could succeed. But somehow, I gathered the never to say to him before standing up and walking out. "You're right, I may not make it, and I may be walking into landmines, but if they don't kill me, at least I'll keep on growing." In that moment, I choose happiness, the lasting happiness that abides with me every day because I decided not to be afraid and to move forward. Staying in Baltimore would have been the safe thing to do, but sitting in my boss's office, I knew that if I let him talk me into staying, it would affect the way I felt about myself forever. I would always wonder what could have been. That one choice changes the trajectory of my life. I live in a state of exhilarated contentment, my definition of happiness, fueled by a passion for everything I committed to: my work, my colleague, my home, my gratitude for every breath taken in freedom and peace. And what makes it sweeter is knowing for sure that I created this happiness. It was my choice. Time is fleeting. Those of you with children are ever cognizant of this fact because your children keep growing out of and into themselves. The goal for all of us is to keep growing out of ourselves too, evolving to our best possible lives. Somewhere deep within me, even when I was a teenager, I always sensed that something bigger was in store for me, but it was never about attaining wealth or celebrity. It was about process of continually seeking to be better, to challenge myself to pursue excellence on every level. What I know for sure, only when you make that process your goal can your dream life follow. That doesn't mean your process will lead you to wealth or fame. In fact, your dream may have nothing to do with tangible prosperity. Prosperity. and everything to do with creating a life filled with joy, one with no regrets and a clear conscience. I've learned that, yes, wealth is a tool that gives you choices, but it can't compensate for a life not fully lived, and it certainly can't create a sense of peace within you. The whole point of being alive is to become the person you were intended to be, to grow out of and into yourself again and again. I believe you can do this only when you stop long enough to hear the whisper you might have drowned out, the small voice compelling you toward your calling. And what happened then? What happens then? You face the biggest challenge of all, to have the courage to seek your dream regardless of what anyone else says or thinks. You are the only person alive who can see your big picture, and even you can't see it all. The truth is that as much as you plan and dream and move forward in your life, then you must remember you are always acting in conjunction with the flow and energy of the universe. Move in the direction of your goal with all the force and verve you can muster, and then let go, releasing your plan to power that's bigger than yourself and allowing your dream to unfold as its own masterpiece. Dream big, very big. Work hard, very hard. And after you've done all you can, fully surrender to the power.